Hey guys, welcome back to the course. Checking back in for a bonus lecture. Why is this bonus? Well, because some of you guys need to follow this and some of you are a little bit farther ahead and you can skip this. We're going to talk specifically about optimization, and specifically we're going to answer the question of is your page ready, if you send traffic to it, to let customers buy your product or your service in a relatively easy way. Now, shocker, if your site isn't ready from a functional sense, it can't collect payment, then you're not gonna obviously be successful. It doesn't matter how much traffic you send to your page, obviously they can't pay you. Therefore, all of your marketing efforts are going to be a waste. Now, a little bit further than that, if your page isn't optimized in at least a minimal regard, you're also gonna run into problems. You're gonna run into what I call the illusion of a failed campaign. What I mean by that is, let's say you're building out your marketing strategy, you picked your channels, you get out there and you start running them, and people are responding in a positive way. They like what you're saying, they like your marketing message, they're clearly resonating with the way that you're pitching to them. But then as soon as they get to your website, nothing seems to happen. Now, if that happened to you, you would just assume that you misread the situation and that they don't like what you are saying, or you're gathering or collecting the wrong people. Now, I call that an illusion because you might think that you scored yourself a win and you learned something, but in reality, there's no way you could know whether or not it's because your page makes no sense and it just encourages people to leave, or you used a ineffective marketing technique. Now, if your site is already set up and you've taken sales and you're reasonably confident that your site makes sense, please skip this lecture. Do not watch it. I do not want to hear you complain about me talking about things you already know. This is just a quick pit stop for those of you out there that want to make a quick audit of your website to make sure that it is at least set up in a way that you can be successful. If your site is not set up in a way that, one, users can understand, two, easily and in an effective way conveys the benefits of your product or service, and three, allows users to easily pay you, your site is just going to be a dud. So for our audit, we're gonna go over those three things. Can your users understand your site? Can they figure out the benefits of your service relatively quickly? And can they pay you? All right, let's look at a website as an example that makes sense. I'm sure you guys have heard of this one. This in general makes sense. I see where I sign up. I see what they are claiming it does. I can scroll down and see what the features are and why they are benefits. And if I wanna learn more, that's great, it's very simple. And again, areas where I can go the next step if I am interested. Now let's look at one that makes absolutely no sense. I've used this one before because it's just so weird. Poker Coach 2. Can anyone tell what this is? I mean, I can kind of guess from the name, but Challenge Poker Snowy now with live real-time advice. Who is Poker Snowy? And get it now, what do I get and how is that 20% off? What is that man at the bottom telling me? I just want to leave because I'm confused. Now, which one of those two are you? Most likely you're somewhere in the middle, but you can still stand to improve. Now, if you look like Poker Snowy, well then thank God you watched this lecture. Now, to get from Poker Snowy to Dropbox, there's two things I want you to do. They're quick and easy. All right, grab a Word document, piece of paper, or anything you can write something down on, and in one sentence, actually do this, I want you to do this, write down what exactly your product or service is and does. Now, if I were selling an iPhone cover, I would say it's a rubber cover that protects your iPhone. It is a rubber cover and it protects your iPhone. That's what the does is and what the is. All right, now that you have that done, I want you to look at your home page with that in mind. In 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, can you tell what exactly your page does? Can you tell that it does that sentence that you just wrote down? If users cannot immediately tell what the point of the page is, or at least what the general topic is, you're always going to have people leave in droves. Now, the second thing you can do is ask a friend, literally anyone. Say, hey, look at my webpage, and do not tell them what it is. Don't tell them what it does, and then just ask them immediately, can you tell what this page is or what it's for? If they can figure it out relatively easy and they're not giving you an answer that's completely wrong, then good job. But if they can't, you really need to work on your clutter and or your organization. You can actually use a tool. You can check this one out. Bonus tip, 5secondtest.com. That's a great website. It's free. All you have to do is take a picture of your site, post it online, and in generally 30 minutes, you'll have people say what they think it does in 5 seconds. Now, the number 2 thing we need to do in our audit is check, does our page convey what the benefits of our product or service is? In a short period of time, can I see on the page why I should buy this and how this is going to benefit me? Now, it doesn't have to be the largest text in the world, but you need to have something on the page to convince them. You cannot just simply have a description of what it is and that is it. They need some persuasion. Now, if I was selling that iPhone case that we just talked about, and I just said iPhone case, no one would buy from me. Even if I just said iPhone case and I put a picture of a beautiful iPhone case, people still will probably not buy from me because they still need to hear what exactly it is and how it's going to cradle my iPhone like a newborn baby. And the last thing we need to check in our quick audit is, can they pay you, right? If someone were happy, satisfied, you convince them that they are gonna pay you money, can they actually do it? I mean, literally, can they do it? Now, if you're not selling something, keep this in mind, or you're doing a free service or something like that, well, your currency is probably gonna be email addresses. So the question then becomes, can they submit their email address to you? And is it not too arduous of a process to do that? Now, there's no excuse to not add payments nowadays. There's so many options for doing this. People don't wanna mail you cash and they don't wanna mail you checks or pay you in Bitcoin. They want the normal options for payment. In the next lecture, we're gonna demo adding a Stripe payment account just so I can show you how dead simple it is. You can do it in 5 minutes. Now, if you guys are on a platform like a Shopify or a WordPress or a Magento or a Drupal or any of those big bloated things, you might just have to Google it, right? They all support payments. You just need to figure out how exactly to do it. You just type in the name of your platform plus payments or credit cards, and they almost always will have a guide. And if all else fails, for some reason you cannot do that, if you are in the US, Canada, and Europe at least, this is a fallback technique you can do. Go to square.com. If you've ever seen Square before, they are a credit card processing company that's kind of democratized the process for everyone. Sign up for an account. You will get approved roughly in 24 hours, unless you're a terrorist organization. And then what you can do is download the application. Then at that point, you can collect credit cards by manually typing them in. So if someone wants to pay you, just set it up such that they input the information, it looks encrypted, gets sent to you, and you can do it manually until later you can add a payment source, or you can call them and do it over the phone. True story, for the first 2 years of running SprintKick, the web studio that I run, that's actually how I collected payments. I called clients and said, this is how much is due, please just read me your credit card. People are actually fine with that because they assume a phone is actually more secure than a credit card page. It's not true at all. Phones are much less secure than a credit card page, but whatever, that's what people think. All right, so check your stuff over. If an idiot were to come to your page, can they figure out, one, what you do, why they should buy it, and can they figure out how to pay you? If you don't meet those 3, please fix it. Otherwise, the rest of this course is gonna be worthless for you. Now, in the next lecture, I'm gonna demo this. I'm gonna show you a really screwed up page, and I'm gonna show you how you can very quickly and easily convert it to one that is actually, that actually passes that 1, 2, 3 audit test. All right, guys, see you in the next lecture.